You fell short of your goals this month. Hey there, Enterprisers, what's good? It's Jason Ligo here again with Always Enterprise. And in this video, I want to talk to you about what to do when you don't hit your goals. That's right, let's talk about when you don't hit your goals. Where do you go from there? What do you do? Is it the end of the world? Let's go ahead and get right into it. Now, it goes without saying that obviously, if you are in business or want to be in business for a long time, and obviously if you want to be a success, you have to have goals by which you can measure that success. However, the idea that you can hit every single one of your goals and make sure that you nail and absolutely crush every single landmark and milestone that you want to hit in your career and throughout your journey, the idea that you can do all of that without ever suffering adversity, without ever suffering a failure, without ever falling short is completely a fallacy, completely wrong. It's just not realistic. Listen, you're going to make mistakes and you're going to fall short. That's okay. So with that in mind, what I want to go ahead and do is give you 3 specific methods that you can go ahead and proceed with when you don't hit your goals. And as a result, you should find yourself not getting discouraged, not wanting to quit, and overall just give you the boost that you need to understand that it's okay. Here's the things that you need to do to go ahead and move forward. Let's dive right in. Number 1, appreciate where you're at. Appreciate where you're at. In other words, go ahead and take stock of the things that you did right. Obviously, we want to talk about what you did wrong. We want to find out where the disconnect was. We want to find out the things that you can do to make yourself better. However, before you do any of that, make sure that you take time to acknowledge the good that you did. Go ahead and acknowledge the progress that you made. Go ahead and make sure that you connect with the things that you know worked and did right. Take full stock of that and make sure that you give yourself a pat on the back because no one else likely is going to do that for you. So in other words, your involvement to that point of accomplishment so far, take full ownership of it and make sure you're proud about it and make sure that you smile about it, knowing that you did at least some right things and it wasn't a complete flop. Surely you got to the certain point that you were at. Even if you fell short, you got to that certain point by doing something right. So take note of it and make sure that you do it next time. Only next time hope to do it better. Number 2, accept ownership. Accept ownership. That's right. Now we get into the nitty-gritty, right? This is exactly where you want to go ahead and figure out what the disconnect was. You want to find out what went wrong. You want to find out where the shortfall came and the reason why it came. Sometimes the issue is not just the fact that you couldn't get around to something. A lot of the times what happens is that you're just you might find out that you don't have the skill set in order to do a certain task, and as a result, it didn't get done, and as a further result, the whole thing went to pot, all right? In any case, you need to make sure that you accept ownership for it, okay? Don't just go ahead and blame one of your teammates, or blame the fact that you don't know how to do this task. Accept ownership of it. In other words, rather than say, this didn't get done because it's too hard or no one picked up the slack, understand that you need to say instead, this didn't get done because I didn't secure whatever it takes to go ahead and get it done. Does that make sense? Make sure that you accept ownership for it. Now, don't beat yourself up, but understand, again, in business, you have to accept complete ownership for your enterprise. The positivity and the progress does not fall on the shoulders of someone else. It falls on yours. Even if you're going to go ahead and delegate that task and that responsibility falls on somebody else, it's still ultimately up to you to ensure that that happens. So accept ownership. Number 3, adjust accordingly. Adjust accordingly, right? Very practical, and it makes total sense, right? Now that you've acknowledged what you've done right, now that you've made sure that you recognize what kind of progress you did and your involvement in the right things that took place, and then of course now that you've also accepted ownership for your role in making sure that something that was supposed to happen did not happen, now you can go ahead and go about fixing it. But there's a reason why this comes after the first 2. Until you realize what you did right and realize where the shortfall was, you can't even begin to start fixing things. And I think that's a big sticking point for a lot of people. A lot of entrepreneurs, when they mess up, they go ahead and start performing a full and complete overhaul of their entire system, their entire business, and it doesn't have to be that way. I would argue that more often than not, it shouldn't be that way. Sometimes the disconnect and the mistake and the kerfluffle or the big catastrophe, whatever you want to call it, a lot of the times it happens as a result of 1 or 2 very small details. But of course, the details matter in this business and in life. So what you want to go ahead and do here now is adjust accordingly. So in other words, if you determine that the reason that this shortfall happened because you did not have the skill set to make something happen, now you know that the right course of action is not to completely redo everything that's going on in your business, but rather you could fix this by simply delegating or outsourcing that task to someone who does have the skill set, someone who does have the patience, someone who does have the resources, and as a result, you're not caught up in the middle of it. You're not the one who's gonna, now cause the complete detriment of the company. It is someone else's responsibility, and you've done your part in making sure that you've connected the two dots, and now, as a result, things should go smoothly. So make sure that you adjust accordingly, and again, it doesn't have to be a complete overhaul. It just needs to be some minor tweaks and minor adjustments, and that should get the job done. There you have it, my friends. Again, this is Jason Ligo with Always Enterprise. Happy to come at you again with another message. I trust this was valuable to you. Very, very simple but practical tips on how to move forward when things go wrong, when you don't hit your goals. And I hope that employing some of these things, you can start to hit your goals more often than not. Make sure that you give me a like, a comment, but most importantly, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any more hot new content that I got coming down the pipe just for you. This is Jason Ligo with Always Enterprise. I'll see you next time. Take care.